Suzanne, hello, hello. Do you have any advice on how I can love myself? It's really hard to accept and value myself. Thanks a lot. And I'm really looking forward to the women's class, especially to the ritual part. It's so necessary and so valuable. I'm so thankful for you guys for making this happen. Thanks again. Oh, you're so welcome. um, well, I'll be focusing a lot of that on how to love yourself, but it's like how you value anything. As I was talking to somebody earlier, I don't remember exactly who it was, about valuing your work and asking for money and that sort of thing. We have been devalued our entire lives. You were trained to not love yourself, right? And you were given a self-image that wasn't particularly lovable, right? For whatever reason, you weren't smart enough, you weren't pretty enough, you weren't tall enough, you weren't rich enough, you weren't creative enough, you weren't enough. So we set this standard, right? A standard that you don't make, you don't you don't match, right? And so this is lovable, this is not. And we live in a culture that has been embodied in our parents, where where love is earned, right? You earn your worth, right? It's not inherent. You're not born with value. The act of being a self-aware human doesn't have any value. It's all the value of the marketplace. I mean, this is the decadence of the Western culture as it has evolved. So how to do it? it's not the kind of it's not the kind of thing you do. I love myself. I love myself. Or putting stickers up on the mirror and things like that. What you have to do. Genuine self-love is natural to us. There's no such thing as a child that doesn't love themselves. There's no such thing. But little by little, we're enculturated into various kinds of standards and then we start feeling less than. Right? So we have to get back to that original innocence, that original essence that is totally lovable and knows it. Right? Now, how do you do that? Well, you do that by clearing away everything, right, that keeps telling you you're not lovable. And all of that is conditioning. All of it. There's no truth in it. But just knowing that there isn't any truth in it isn't enough to clear away the conditioning that has been trained to assume you're not lovable and compensate for the fact that you're not lovable. So trying hard to be something that you might not be able to be, trying to acquire things, all the stuff, all the knots and pretzels we twist ourselves into, only to try to make ourselves lovable according to an artificially imposed standard from the outside. If what I'm say to you in that you actually are lovable, but you don't know who you are, who you think you are isn't lovable, because that's who you were forced to become. Who you really are, the truth of you, is infinitely lovable, has infinite value, is the self, the beingness of all, and simultaneously this utterly unique and beautiful form that has appeared that got the name Suzanne. So it's a process of clearing away all of the assumptions that said I wasn't. And these assumptions are energetic. They're conditioned patterns. They're not these kinds of assumptions. They're not beliefs, right? They will appear as self-derogatory thoughts or self-sabotage and that sort of stuff, but that's not their origin. And so just trying to change your thinking is actually a waste of time, because you won't get to the essence that is producing those thoughts, right? They rise up, you trim it off, the weed comes up, you trim it off, it just keeps coming, right? You have to pull it out by the roots. And the roots is the fundamental misunderstanding of who you are. Who you are is the divine being. It's why in the class I'm using the archetypes of the goddess and the queen, which are powerful archetypes. And I know the goddess is kind of overused these days. You know, the your divine nature and all of that. It's gotten a bit. But I want to deepen it. I want to reclaim it and bring it back to the real meaning that it has, because it isn't an aspiration to shoot for. It is the actual nature of of your identity, right? All the gods and goddesses are in us. We project them out there. This great character, she's a goddess. She's got it all together. I don't. But even the projecting of it betrays the fact that it's already here. Otherwise, you couldn't project it and you couldn't see it. So now it becomes a matter of owning it, of claiming that for yourself and recognizing that these fundamental energies within us, the goddess and the queen, and there's others as well, but I'm going to be focusing on those particular archetypes, are inherent. That is your true nature. That's your true birthright. And, like the story of, Sleeping Beauty, right? Who the wicked queen, right? Gave her a special toxin that put her to sleep, right? Put the real her to sleep, put the real you, the goddess, to sleep. And the evil queen represents the shadow, the tyrant, the ego, right? That which is holding to the false version of you. But it's not you. Both of them are there, right? And the evil queen is the one that's telling you how horrible you are. You just can't make it. You're not good enough, right? That's the evil queen, right? But in fact, you're the true heir to the throne, right? It's the fairy tales, the mythologies, they are just rampant with this theme because that's what they represent. You are the goddess. It's not something you will get to be. It is a realization that you are that. And the queen, which simply represents the authority in human form of the goddess energy. And it's an authority from birth. It is not, notice, it's inherent. The queen is born a queen. She does not earn it. Is not given to her. What she says goes, because the authority is invested in her simply because of who she is. That's the real metaphor, the real archetype of the genuine kind of power that I want to awaken in all of you. And it's only been covered up, right? And believe me, you don't need the handsome prince to come and kiss you. that's other stuff. Yeah, that was added later. Yeah, or the seven dwarfs, right? Right, all of these fairy tales, and all it's legendary. The prince or the princess who's stolen in the middle of the night and taken away, and they're raised as a peasant, and they have no idea who they really are, but eventually they're recognized, and it is discovered. This is the path. This is the hero's journey, the heroine's journey, and I'm so glad you're going to be in that class. It will be quite liberating.